Welcome to Fitz Life Unfiltered with Jamie and Kim Fitzpatrick. Jamie and Kim will help you live abundantly, provide value and tips on achieving physical, mental, spiritual, and financial wealth while navigating this crazy thing we call life. Are you ready? Let's go.
Okay, so I heard saw a quote on Instagram, and I think I brought it up with you a few times, and it was very relatable, probably to everybody. I feel like maybe the season we're in, because I think healing is something maybe everyone's trying to do. And it was, I want to give the dude credit. I'm going to post his Instagram in the notes because I don't want to just do it without giving him credit. It was, everybody wants to heal until the medicine is discipline. And I was like, whoa, because it's true. And healing can come in physical forms, mental forms, unless you control the controllable. You know, I don't want to get into a whole mental health discussion about depression and all that. But there's a bunch of different types of healing. And you know, with me, I always think to myself, and you've said this to me when I'm in those periods of time, it's like, am I doing everything possible to heal? Because it's so funny. And this is, I think, is a deeper psychiatric discussion. I really believe that. And we can talk about, what's the word I'm looking for? Not manifestation, but like pain can come through, and physical pain can come through mental things. Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for?
And from healing too, like
that too.
Like healing can unlock a ton of stuff epigenetically. Like if you really study any of Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, there's so much science about this type of stuff too, where you can have physical stuff. We're not doctors or scientists, but certainly two people that have walked through a shit ton of experience and lived experience that we're working through. And that's going to come up in different various ways. It can come up in headaches. It could come up in how you're feeling. It could come up in lethargy. It could come up in lack of motivation. And I think that's why I loved that quote, because discipline, like I always loved the saying, you know, you can't erase what happened for you, but you can decide what the next step is of what you're going to be doing going forward. Like, if I want to continue acting like how I was raised, that's on me. If my children were experiencing the same thing that I experienced in whatever form that was, that's just me not learning or reparenting or having the discipline to not repeat that behavior.
Right.
And that's cutting intergeneration. That's intergenerational, like, healing and growth. And if you think about it too, from like, there's good and bad, right? There's healing that's good and bad. So I think when you, to that quote about like the medicine is discipline, that's not an ugly word.
Which part?
That discipline's not an ugly word.
Well, no.
But I think people think about that. Sometimes I think people feel like discipline's restriction. Discipline's hard. Let me like effort through this.
Well, I think it can be hard to be disciplined. I do. Like that. If everyone was disciplined, their lives would be different and the world would look very different.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's hard necessarily, but it's obviously hard for people to do over a longer period of time.
And I think part of what we want to talk about today is giving people strategies and ideas to think about what's harder.
Yeah.
Because you've had, let's say you've pulled in some really amazing discipline. You're feeling great or on your way to that. You're ascending into how you want to feel.
Yeah.
That takes discipline. Sure, that's hard. Yes. But what's harder? Feeling uninspired, feeling disappointed in yourself, feeling shame, feeling snappy, and then blaming it on the lack of how you're actually taking care of yourself.
Right. The term I was trying to think of was psychosomatic.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to. It's like psychosomatic. It's like, and I've told you this with a therapist before, and I'm not, there's an awful realization when you're actually, I think, self-aware enough. There's an awful realization when you come to the point that you're like, okay, I have physical chronic pain. And when you come to the realization that you may be bringing on that yourself, and it's not just physical, that's a very weird actualization. I've actually told people that. I've told you that before. Yeah. You come to a realization that, like, some of how I'm feeling physically is actually coming from up here.
Right.
Potentially. I'm not saying, hold on, let me
talked about that
let me
with you.
disclaim this. Not everyone, I'm not claiming that like, oh, you have physical pain, it's all in your head. I'm not saying that. Yeah. I'm acknowledging that for me, there's probably some of that for me. This has been too long for me. It's been 25 years now, off and on, random stuff. Is it stress? Maybe some of it, yeah. You know, the psychosomatic aspect of that is but to come to that realization that, oh my God. And so, yeah, I think it's like, it's if my suggestion for people, and again, we're all in a different situation, so don't at me about like, oh, I have this, and how dare you say that, you know, my physical ailment can be cured by me thinking different. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just speaking for me.
But Joe Dispenza's work really supports all that.
Absolutely. So,
sure. And there's a lot of work that supports all that.
Of course there is. But I do think there's people with physical ailments, and
of course. You're talking about your lived experience right now, though. So I don't think we have to disclaim. It's like just kind of, I do think we need to disclaim, but you're truly just talking from your experience.
Yeah. And I think like, for me, you know, I think to get out of your own way is to actually realize that like, anyone who has chronic pain will tell you it's hell. They will literally tell you, broken leg, you know at some point you won't have your broken leg anymore. It's chronic pain is chronic pain. It's called chronic for a reason. You start to lose hope. You're worried that things are never going to change. On the other side of that, though, is, have I had the discipline to do all the modalities and therapies, everything in my power and resources, to have the discipline to do the 6 things that may reduce that chronic pain? And the crazy answer is no, I haven't. No, and that's so that.
Yeah.
But then, so the easy question is, why not? If the chronic pain is so bad,
exactly,
why aren't you doing the 6 things that may alleviate that, and maybe have even alleviated it before in the past?
Right.
That's the mind fuck of the mind.
Wow.
Is that a real, what I just said? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think that's,
think about that.
But that's the thing, and it's the awareness. Like, you know, it's the awareness. It's being able to zoom out in your life and ask yourself really hard questions and say, okay, I'm no longer going to, like, if I want an excellent life, then how can I be excellent? Like, it's really that simple, where it's like, is this moving me closer to where I want to grow, or is it moving me further away? Or even worse, is it plateauing me? Because plateau and stuck are the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I love, that it's almost like giving anyone that's listening or anyone that's watching the permission or the pause to say, am I doing what I can be doing that will move the needle towards the life I'm trying to create? That's it.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting to create a life that's peaceful and that's more pain-free, that has more ease, that has more autonomy, it has you wanting to show up with vitality and longevity and excitement, well then, what are the things that are going to do that? And if you're not doing that, you can't get bitter or mad that it's not working. You're not working.
Yeah.
You know? And that's not trying to be crass or mean. It's just, you have to have your own agency, that you can take control of that and have true love in your own thinking. And then what's one thing you can do?
Yeah. On its simplest form, and I'm just going to talk about walking, because everyone who follows me knows I love walking.
Yeah.
But I gapped out on that for a while, right? Probably it's been since we did the presentation for the mortgage company.
Yep.
When I had to get up in front of people and speak. And that reset something for me.
I love that.
It's interesting, right? That made me really conscious of what I was doing, because I was trying to tell people, right?
And you were fighting that. You were fighting.
I didn't want to do that. Fuck no.
Right.
Pardon my language.
Talk about that.
Oh, we were invited to speak. Kim and I were invited to speak for a mortgage broker company. There was about 40 people in the room.
Yeah,
I haven't spoken publicly for a long time.
Yeah.
Years, maybe. I mean, publicly on Zooms a lot and training, but not on stage in a long time, or in front of a healthy amount of people. Thousands of people. But this was 40 people, which sometimes even makes it
I know, it's more intimate.
Scarier, because it's very intimate. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, no, hell no, I'm not.
That was a terrible weekend, by the way.
Why? Which
I
weekend?
felt anxious, but before leading up to it,
and then Kim was like, no, then I'll do it with you. And I just wasn't feeling great about where I was at. I hadn't spoken publicly. And Kim kind of convinced me we'll kind of do it together. And I was like, okay, that's fair. And we'll kind of do it more like a podcast in front of people and just kind of ask questions. And by the time I spoke, Kim and I were standing up there, and Kim actually sat down because I was sort of just started talking. And I was like,
I think I knew that all along. Like I sort of edged my way back to give you that respect and that like empower you to be like, go take this. You've got this.
And the point of it all was I was telling my story through the event, right? Because that's the main thing that you can talk about and piece it all together. And at the end of the thing, I was just talking about self-care, and the room was very interactive, right? They were asking questions, which was great. It made it a lot more comfortable, and the room didn't feel as intimidating. But through that process of explaining to them everything I've been through, like actually verbalizing that out loud, and then being like, oh, wow, what was wrong? Like, why did you have that heart? And then you start to think about it, and you're talking about it, and you're putting it out in the universe again. It actually resets something in me, which I didn't know or expect. And so probably since then, I've been, and this was my point, I've been walking about 90 minutes a morning. I go for a walk. Fasted, that's a whole other discussion. If you're curious, you can always message me. But the fasting I do, and we'll quickly talk about the 7-day fast, Jesus. But I typically do intermittent fasting, right?
Yeah, you have forever.
So I have forever. I typically won't eat until 2, Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say disclaimer for women that it's completely different for women versus men. So do your due diligence with fasting, but keep going.
Well, don't just try to fast because you won't be able to, because you're just not metabolically flexible.
Yeah.
Because you haven't done it before, and your body's going to be like, why aren't you giving me food at 9 a.m. or whatever you used to? Yeah. That's a whole other topic I could talk about for a long time because I love it. I think there's sure weight loss is the byproduct, but that's not why you do it. Anyway, so I do intermittent fasting windows like 4 to 6 hours typically.
Of eating? You're eating?
Of eating, yeah. Water, I do my supplements and stuff like that. Last year I did a 7-day water fast, which sounds crazy to a lot of people. I documented the whole thing on Instagram. People were very curious on that. My point being that in its simplest form, talking about discipline and healing and stuff like that, even just walking for 90 days, when did we do that presentation? 90 minutes. When did we do that presentation? 2 weeks ago?
Monday. Yeah.
Yeah? Have I felt better? Yes. And in its simplest form?
Yeah.
Okay. It's one just little step I've done, and I'm not going to give it a percentage. I'm not going to, I feel like a 7 out of 10. I've just felt better. And it's just a really simple thing to improve. And I will keep adding things. My nutrition's been better for sure as well. And so it's just like, it's a little bit of discipline. It's a little bit of more my nutrition, a little more discipline. The walking, a little more discipline. Don't eat like an asshole, a little more discipline. Cut down on the wine. Been sleeping more.
You've been going to bed earlier, so that's different, right? It's again, it's like all of this is such good awareness, even for anyone that's listening or watching. It's like just kind of pulling it back into your own perspective of, okay, what am I moving, or how many steps do I have a day? Like just being aware of that. How much protein are you getting today? How many hours of sleep are you getting? That's a great place to start. Like you don't need to go and be, if I'm honest, like you can be extreme, and I don't have time to go walk for 90 minutes every morning. You may not either. So that hearing that experience, that's for you. You've got space for that. You've created space for that. That's fantastic. That's one thing that makes you feel good. For anyone that's listening, it's like, do you know where you are? And I think for you, what I'm hearing you say is that you really had this eye-opening, this awakening of like, holy shit, I'm talking to this amazing group of professionals. I'm a professional. I want more for my life. We've never preached that we are perfect or we have it all together. But what it did was it reminded you, fuck you are.
Right.
And
what I've been through. And
amen for that. Yeah. And gave you more compassion, like this lens of compassion. So for those of you that are listening, it's like, okay, let's get clear. What am I currently doing from a steps? If we think about foundation, from a steps perspective, am I moving? What am I doing from a sleep? How's my sleep? Do you have any way of tracking that? Do you know?
If you're able-bodied, I think everyone in the world should be doing at least 30 minutes of walking. If you can't fit that into your schedule, then there's something else wrong with your schedule, honestly.
Right. But I think again, like, that's so fair. But if it's not in the forefront of what people are thinking about, sometimes it's easier to get distracted and caught in the work.
Of course.
Or the kids.
Yeah.
So you're right. But that comes down to time schedule. So it's so much more than that. Like, I'm just like putting on, like, anyone that's listening that's in his full life is going to be like, that's great, Jamie. That's so cool. You can do that. I can't do that. So it's like, what can you do? Kind of like what you're saying. It's like, what's one win? What's one decision?
Yeah.
What's one thing? But what I love hearing is how much better you feel. And there's an energy shift. I can feel the difference in the home. So for those that are a viewer that are listening, it's like, how's your energy in the home? You know, I was talking to somebody yesterday and, you know, they were talking about something that was happening real time for them in their life. And I said, the only thing you can control right now is how well you lead you. And if you're so busy talking about what everyone else isn't doing, it's actually just giving you a way to not put the blame on, to not actually take any responsibility for what you're doing in your life. So this is an opportunity for you to think, like, you had a real awareness. You're like, I'm not going to bed on time. Like, you really did a bit of a checklist.
Yeah.
So your 6 things, what are they?
For what? To, like, the discipline? Instilling some discipline?
6 things. There's these 6 things. So
I think sleep.
Be?
I think sleep, less alcohol, like, really, that's
for everyone.
Forever. I mean, Joe Rogan said it best. Like, Joe Rogan is like one of the healthiest dudes on the planet, so to speak. Cold plunge, does, you know, jujitsu every day, stretches, lifts weights, does the same thing, eats super clean. I think he's a carnivore, but eats super clean. Yeah. And he said to himself, he goes, but fuck, he goes, I go to because he owns a comedy club. He goes, I go to the comedy club and I pound drinks with the other comedians. I come in and do my podcast with some guys and we smoke weed. And he's like, why am I poisoning myself every day? I'm so healthy in what I do, but then I'm poisoning myself.
Wow. So he, like, came to that realization
he was
while
just
he was
like,
in a conversation?
he was just like,
Cool.
I'm going to go sober. Why am I drinking?
Wow.
And I'm sure he feels better. So I've been doing that, cutting that back.
Your sleep?
My sleep's been good, and then my next addition, and nothing's ever going to be perfect, but my next addition is weightlifting.
Yeah,
and I'm just kind of easing into that, and because there's a pressurized thing there for me, and I'm going to ease into that. And then you and I had the discussion about, like, how do you do have to make a conscious decision to, okay, I'm going to start doing these things, and it just starts with one thing. And for me, when I walk, I tend to do something else better, and then I tend to do the other thing better, and I tend to do the other thing better, and it just kind of stacks on top of each other. And it is really about, like my next decision, like, today, for example, I've made nothing but I've won every decision and choice. I've won every one. I got up, read a little bit, you know, had water, that was a choice. I had a coffee, which is fine.
With your wife?
With my wife. That was a good choice. Put a little bit of milk in, not a ton. That's a good choice. Went for a 90-minute walk.
You didn't put your silk creamer in like mine?
No, I did not.
So good.
My God, she uses it's the fucking worst.
It's so good.
It's not good for you.
Where's my almond milk lovers?
It's like...
Silk vanilla.
No, it's so bad for you.
We're going to try black.
Do you like the taste?
Oh, I
God,
think
it's awful.
It's sugary.
It tastes like you're, I don't know, eating 14 chemicals. Like, it's just god awful. I can't believe you think it tastes better.
I might go cold turkey and just do black.
No. You should be putting in whole milk. It's so much better for you.
From the cow.
Yeah, from the teat. From the teat, direct.
Raw.
So we're back to me. Let's start talking about me again. What?
Oh, it's cute.
And so, what was I saying?
You're talking about your 6 habits, your weightlifting.
I know that.
Talked about milk. You had coffee.
Oh, decisions.
Won the day, decisions.
You just have to win the next choice. Win the next decision.
I love that.
Win the next decision. So after this, right, we leave here. I've got choices and decisions to make. I haven't eaten yet. 250.
Should we go on a date night?
We could go on a date night. That's a decision. We got to decide if it's good or not.
I think it's always good to go on a date night.
Financially, no.
So
these are all the decisions you have to make, though. Like, should we? Like,
in our house?
We could. That's a better choice. Let's get like a steak and have a date night at home.
Oh, see?
Right?
Okay.
Anyway, but after this, I have to go choose to eat something.
Yeah.
Because I got to break my fast because I haven't eaten yet. It's 2:50 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm not super hungry, but I have to make a choice, and I'm going to make a good one.
I love that.
And at the end of the day, you're going to make some shitty choices. You're not going to win them all. Break it into 4 quarters like a football game. You got to win 3 quarters to win the game, at least. You at least have to win half of the day. You have to dominate half the day. You may lose the last half, but overall, you might come out on top with the win. Just break it up into parts. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't think about next week or a month. Even me, I'm like, I want to be in amazing shape. I just I gotta be patient.
One day at a time.
Patient. One choice at a time.
Yeah.
Not even one day at a time. You can, but like one choice at a time. In the afternoon, nighttime, I got to win. And then I wake up the next morning with a little bit more pride. And we all have to be prideful, because that's the promised land. If you can start to be proud of yourself and have some pride in what you're doing, it's really easy to make another good decision. And that's really, for me, that's what it is. Doesn't happen all the time. I have my moments, I have my months, like, you know me. But like, it's just...
That's identity. We talked about that.
Yeah, it's identity.
But doesn't it feel like I can even feel your energy? Can you all feel that?
Hell yeah.
Like I can, if you go back.
That's cocaine. No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Everyone knows it's not. Come on.
I'm always like, oh my God, some Sally's going to go take that seriously. And anyway.
Clip it.
Jamie's
on cocaine.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, high grade, Colombian, straight. It's just like, great.